Hey, welcome back. This is Ricky Chavez with Battle Ready. It's about a process of reinventing yourself. In the last couple of segments, we've been talking with Casey Patel. We talked about his uh, coming to the United States as a 16-year-old. By 19 or 20, coming to Houston, Texas, and then we talked about his cricket experiences as a player, and then how people from other countries come and just start business and become entrepreneurs. Hey, Casey, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Ricky.
And we talked earlier. You said six sandwich shops, right?
Yep.
And you were going strong, and then somehow you ended up in the hotel world. Talk about that.
So, like I mentioned in a earlier episode, right, that when people migrated here, like from India, you know, their key was, oh, to own a hotel is a big accomplishment back then. So it was in the mind, right, that okay, farmer's son becomes a farmer kind of thing. So it's like okay, lot of the hoteliers are background is there from India. So it was a dream that okay, one day I'll also own a hotel. So I was just looking, and something, when again I say if destiny is there, nobody can stop it, and there is I don't take no for an answer. So I went and saw a hotel online. It was hour and a half from here, Somerville, Lake Somerville, Texas. I don't know. I'm sure you know where it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So it was a like almost 6 months old hotel. Got in the bankruptcy and spoke to the bank and everything. And realistically, because it was bankrupt, SBA wouldn't loan on it. So end result, I had all these savings, and then I had my two brother-in-laws. They also saved some money. We scrambled some money together and went out and met a lot of bankers and ended up convincing one bank that even though we don't own a hotel, we know what we're doing and we'll make it successful. And 22, what is that, 2010, 20 years, 21 years, and I still own that hotel.
That's amazing. And I think that's back to the can-do attitude, no fear,
Right.
right? That's how you started that.
Yeah.
And a matter of fact, that's something. So your passion is sports, your passion is cricket. I know your passion is starting to be baseball. I'm gonna throw that in there real fast for your son, right? And now you've you're also playing the Masters League, don't you?
Yes, so I have for last 3 years I'm on the Masters US team. So they also go out and compete with other countries and play Masters World Cup. So just recently I was selected again. We went to Dubai for the zonals in October, and in February the team went to Sri Lanka for the World Cup. So I was selected in for the first 14 to go and play. But unfortunately, the it was coming in a time where I couldn't live here because of my commitments here, so I had to back out at the last second. But now the team is going to England in June, so hopefully, if I get selected, I might make that trip.
Oh, and naturally be over there pretty nice, right?
Yeah, so they travel a lot.
So was that
They travel a lot.
okay? And so now, if I think about it, so hit all the different levels with cricket, but now you get into the coaching side, not only but your team, but you have the LSA Cricket Academy. Talk a little bit about that.
So basically, like I said, one thing led to another, from sandwich shop to hotel, cricket, played, and then got an opportunity because of my friend who owns a private complex to own a minor league team. Once that happened, I was saying that the grassroots we're picking, so we're supposed to mandatorily have three players in the roster. They're American borns and they're under 19 kids. So, the game goes on. So I noticed that everybody where they were getting coached, there was a gap. They were missing something where everybody was teaching them how to, like, techniques, but they were not working on the mental strength. So in cricket, and I'm sure in baseball also is the same thing. Once you learn the game, technique is only 30%, 70% is your mental, how you react on the situations and stuff like that. So they were having a lot of breakdowns. They, like, again, they didn't know if they got set on the bench, They panicked. They didn't pay attention. They didn't do the things they're supposed to do to get better. So then I've got a lot of people that came and they requested that we want you to open an academy. So for 5 years, I had restrictions on me from the minor league, that they didn't want me to open an academy because of some political reason. And finally, the same person who stopped me uh, gave me a clearance at some point, saying that now you can go and do it. That you waited enough, and we see there is a demand for more academies in your area. So opened it last August. We started with 10 kids, and right now we are close to 50 kids in my academy. And then we opened up another branch in Bel Air, city of Bel Air, 2 weeks ago. So my thing is cricket. Usually people go where cricket is. I'm going where people are. So if someone's living in Bel Air, or say you live in Woodlands or Humble area, and there is no facilities there, but parents do not have time to travel every day, take their kids hour and a half somewhere to learn
Practice.
cricket. So it's easy for me to send coaches, so we have started this, and if this works out, we'll tap into remote areas of Houston to make parents life easy, and make we our goal is to get Americans involved, not just South Asian, right? So my feeling is it's all going to happen after the 2028 Olympics. That's when cricket now is the Olympic sport. So when Americans sees cricket and that curiosity will build, then they'll Google cricket near me, and hey, I want to take my kid, to learn cricket. And that's when I think so this will go to the next step, when Americans they step in, you know, and play this game. Just like soccer. Think about soccer 25 years
Sure.
ago. Same, we're in the same situation.
Well, something they keep saying. So I remember growing up, everybody says practice makes perfect, practice makes perfect, practice makes perfect. And then I had this one coach tell me, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Because if
that's
you practice the wrong thing and you practice and get really good at the wrong thing, it's
they
not good,
it's
right?
not, it's not good. So that's why you need those eyes, that experience, everybody needs it. Even the pros need it. I'm telling you, like, I played pro, and we create bad habits. When things are going good for you, you don't realize that you're creating bad habits, but it's because your success is there. But then when the downfall comes, right, that is the person you leaned up to, is that coach that you trusted, and he already knows that what worked for you, and now what you're doing wrong.
And that brings to mind a thought that is very, very big in my head, and that is when people are doing great things like COVID. Everybody in real estate were just amazing, but now the market's so different. And so what does everybody tell you? Even in sports, go back to the basics,
Basic.
right?
Yes.
There's basics in everything.
Everything.
But if you really don't know the basics, then what do you go to, right?
And that's why they need someone like me to just be honest. Like I said, again in the earlier episode, I'm very honest to every single parent, by telling them, look, I'm not promising that your kid's going to represent the city or the state or the country. What I can live in him is that the the thought process and street smartness, that when he grows up, he'll be able to use that at his work, with making friends, things like that, right? Or his kids when he's a father, so this is very important. I see that I've put all this into my son, and I've seen him become a successful man, and I think it's needed here, because our culture here is all about studies, right? From the day a kid is born, the dad decides he's going to be a doctor. It's not like a average general American, right, that they let the kid do. They guide them, but they're happy with what the kid wants to do, because you can make money in this country being a musician, being a writer, anything you want to do, being a photographer, anything. If you work hard, you can make your life, right, here. So that's where in Indians I've seen that a lot. that they only focus on studies, and then the street smartness is gone. So they don't let them find their way around. Everything is catered to them.
I know that the one thing I've noticed a lot of is yes, there's a lot of engineers and high end positions, but also they're big into being entrepreneurs, and they I mean, there's no limit. You had a sandwich stores. I know one of the gentlemen that is really close to me, and is he had 25 liquor stores, and he said I barely drink, but there was a need. So they find that niche market or a market, and they just capitalize on that.
Yeah.
What
So
do you
there
think
are
about
like
that?
three, four things that we had limitations. I'll be honest. Either it's a convenience store, either it's liquor store, either it's hotel, right? Motels, not hotels, but motels, right? Like an independent motel, or it's a washateria. So there was limitations, right? Why? Because most of them, again, they might have millions of dollars, but still till day, if you talk to them, their confidence level in talking is not good if they're talking outside of their comfort zone or people they don't know. They're okay with people they know, because they know they're not going to judge them. But if they go, like, for example, if there is a high profile person there, they might back down and not go and introduce themselves, because again that thought comes in their mind. What if he doesn't like the way I'm speaking?
No, I met a guy from Costa Rica probably or probably about 3 years ago, and he wanted to look at some land because he was getting ready to put a parking lot. And I met him at his parking lot. He had 7.5 acres. He told me how he came to the United States and he picked up cans for the first year on the side. That's how he made his money. Now he has 7 acres and it's all it is a parking lot. It has no buildings, no anything. And he just is making so much money. He says, I don't even know what to do, you know. And that's because he just had a vision, had an idea, and he just wasn't scared to go after it. And I think that's really one of the things I've always noticed about you and our various conversations is, we talked about you wanting to have an academy. Matter of fact, I think I even went to your academy, or actually one of your places that you practiced at, right? That indoor place.
Yes, that's where
Okay. And then you were telling me about your vision, and now it's just there. It's
is there.
amazing.
I'm
Yeah.
working really hard, because like I said, if I do anything, I want to make sure it's successful 100%, and my vision is completely different from others, right? So that's what I was just saying. Also yesterday I ended up, I'm like, just like baseball, there's so many cricketers out there, and there are only very few scouts or people who make decision, right? So if
Sure.
you're sitting in Humble, and if there is a good kid in Sugarland, how are you gonna know, right? So you have to create content nowadays. Okay, one selector doesn't have time to be in 10 different places, so he relies on all the films and everything, you know so I invested in streaming, said that, hey, at least my academy kids, if someone's good or I'm gonna broadcast the game, you never know, the selector likes someone and they might start following that kid, you know and he might have a future. Yeah, so things like that, I think a little bit outside the box, just to make sure to make anything I do, try to make it successful.
I think one of the things I like about this is you say you're going to take it to the people. And
Yeah.
we'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back from this last commercial. And we're talking with Casey Patel with Lone Star Athletics.